Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. The weekend is coming. How is everyone? I hope you're all good. You did good. You slept well. You relaxed. You're strong. You're smart. Is everyone hearing me, seeing me correctly? All good? Hello, hello. Just please let me know if you can hear me, see me. Hi, Karsten. Guys, hi, Bo. Hi, Peter. Hi, Aurel. Thank you for joining. I have an interesting update for you today. I got an email from Victor at Finanstillsynet, so at the DFSA. Let me share my screen. You know, usually we do this in this format. So let's share the screen. Okay. So let me get to that email. This is the thread where we discuss the topics. You remember that that email where Thijs has asked Finanstillsynet to cancel the complaint. It seems that it didn't work. So, dear Mark, your former Mark complaint sent on March 15, 2026 is processed on J number 26005-434. So either we don't understand anything what is going on, or the Finanstillsynet is playing a correct game, and therefore they still continue the investigation on for Thijs for not sharing the necessary communication to the market as requested by Mar. And basically, now as liquidator, he has even more obligations than a curator. So I'm asking everyone that is following closely Nordnet and everything, because you know that I don't have access to Nordnet because of Meet ID and all of these things. Did you receive any kind of information or any communication from Nasdaq or Shape Robotics at this level, especially due to the fact that we are talking about reconstruction, and the reconstruction claims are processed, and Thijs has refused them. I think this is material information that should have been shared to the company. I've made a check. I will share something with you, because yesterday we spoke with Marcel. I don't know if he's connected, and he shared with me something very interesting. He did a research on bankruptcy cases in Denmark on the main market. And as we are also an educational company, or this is what our mandate is, I will try to, hello Marcel, I will try to use the material. Thank you, Valentino. News from Nasdaq. Okay, I'm more thinking about Thijs, and I will get to that point immediately. So let's look at what Marcel has sent me, because I think it's super relevant, and it gave me a very interesting set of information afterwards. So I will share the screen. About 20 years of bankruptcies on the main market in Denmark. So this is very funky. So I need you to take a look. I hope you can see the screen. So in 25, I use data wrapper. It's quite of a complex platform, and I will share this with you also in the let me try to make it a little bit bigger so it's easier for you to see. Maybe this format. Let me know if you like this more, because I think it's better like this. So in 20 5 years, so from 2020 from 2000 to 2025, we have identified the following companies that went bust on the main market in Denmark. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 17 actually, because Shape Robotics appears 2 times on this list. Out of 17 companies that went bankrupt on the main market in Denmark in the 25 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 were banks. So we remain with 4 companies we remain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 companies, non-financial companies in 25 years in Denmark. Why I'm saying this? Because I think it's super relevant for our case, especially due to the fact that the banks cannot be treated as handled by the Handelsretten court, because they cannot be. They're handled specially as they are financial institutions. And I will show you what was handled by the Handelsretten court, so by the same court that is handling our case. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 bankruptcies in total, and one of it was this IT factory that I think Bo has explained to me about it in a very detailed way, about this kind of a fraud that happened with Steinberger, or what was his name? I wrote it here. It was a fraud, okay, case. So in all reality, there are 2 bankruptcies. One is OV Banker and the other one is Stone Invest, that were handled by the Maritime Court on the main. So companies on the main market. And looking at this, it's Mazanti Anderson as lawyers that handled such a case, so Stones Invest, and Plessner. So in my head, I have the question that I'm asking it also to you, because this is Friday, so we can do it in a more relaxed way. Where is the experience necessary to handle such a case in this court? That's because I'm trying to explain myself after yesterday. I still truly believe that we do not talk about any sort of wrongdoing on behalf of the judge. So I'm 100% certain that the judge is a very correct person, and I am not accusing at any point the judge of some sort of, I don't know, let's say collusion with ties. No, not at all. So what I'm talking here is about the experience in these cases, because honestly, and I have Bo here, who was with us, I truly believe that the judge didn't understand that we had what was an EGM and that EGM took place. So I told you yesterday about that. And now after I made this analysis, I believe that we have to look at this in a totally different way. We need to think that this has to be treated as a first case of this magnitude here. And also I discussed a lot with some lawyers and friends from Denmark, that they are telling me that basically where the problem lies is the fact that I didn't choose to die quietly. So the judge in this case, of course, maybe she doesn't have the experience of such cases before, but she's a versed judge when it comes to, she's not a spring chicken at all, so she has a lot of experience in the court, but most likely she doesn't have the experience of very strict procedure. And especially here when we're talking about how so many shareholders that I'm trying more or less to defend, I guess this is where it broke. So we are in a very, very look what Bo says. So she might not understand it completely. So the question remains here whether we have a fighting chance in explaining exactly what is happening. And I would believe, without trying to create any sort of, revolution in this, but I would I would really ask you to try to amplify a little bit the story using your connections and whatever is available at your resource level, because this is a case where many people don't understand where we are, including the judge. So I become more and more convinced that this is a complex situation where I'm a person that has different approach to the law, in the sense that I follow more procedures and protocol, and they just want to do it how they do it in any bankruptcy claim, standard ones. In Denmark, there are tons of bankruptcy claims. So last year, there were 2,800 bankruptcy claims in Denmark, but all of them, or most of them, were not small companies, okay? Let's call it like that. Small startups that failed. And this is one of the situations that I heard. We were a First North company, for those who remember. Some of the investors like Bo have bought at the IPO, which was basically a First North IPO. I think that 99.9% of the companies on First North died. And died mostly because of this situation with bankruptcy and the investment community's problems, okay, or issues. Let me get some. I needed some ink for my pen. So what I wanted to say is, I saw a lot of comments, especially from Karsten, and I appreciate the effort that you're putting in for supporting the company. But and I saw that you're fighting very hard with some of the haters that we have on Nordnet. But I believe that also there is a change of, let's say, the general feeling surrounding the company, in the sense that this company can be restructured. And it is very weird to discuss about, and I think Karsten was the one that said today that he didn't know about, are you still here, Karsten? I think that he was here, that said today in the on the forums of Nordnet that he believes that now the transparency level is correct. And also he believes the fact that many questions surrounding the debt that was, or the claim that was generated with StoryKids sale should be decided in court. So one thing that I want to explain to you about that claim, and I think that is important, Karsten, that you have this information and you can share it on Nordnet. And I repeat, I will share again this screen. That claim is from 2022. So I will explain to you very simple how it is. So I think I shared it in a note, so you should have it in a note, but I will put it in the, because I don't want to keep you so much on Friday. So the promissory note that secured this claim, which is a face value document that is not contestable, it's a document like a check. Okay, so you can check what on Google or whatever AI you are using. You can check how a promissory note operates, and this case is self-explanatory for everybody. So I have the promissory note in original here. Okay, so I will try to, let's see if I can have if it will zoom on it. I don't know if the camera will zoom. Okay, so I think everybody can see it now. So it's a promissory note that has been signed by Andre Fern on the 7th of December 2022. So 7th of December 2022, okay? I think that my camera is flipped, no? It's mirrored, so you cannot see it. Okay, let me change the settings of the camera. 1 second. You could see it, or I need to change the settings? I don't know exactly how I am. looking. Let me check. I think I am mirrored. Now it should be much better. Okay, so you should be able to read it now. You saw it in the post, but you can see it here. It says clearly 2022, okay? So I just wanted to show that this is an original document that will be in court. So why is this relevant for everybody? Is because some people say this was generated under my tenure. No, that's nothing to do with my tenure. And you have to, I don't want to defend myself because of course I did a lot of mistakes during my tenure as a CEO, and most likely I could have done things better if I knew it. I was just counting on other people to do their job, which is something that I don't recommend you to do when you're in my position. So I recommend you to be a little bit more connected in the sense that exaggerately connected, because I was very connected, but don't count on people doing their job just because they are very well paid. Okay. So long story short, this is a secure document that secured our position in respect to the projects that we brought into the company. So it's very simple. We brought in more than 100 million euros of projects, and we had an earnout at 25%. Part of that earnout was paid, but very minimal. So way around 800,000 euros plus some commissions that were converted into shares that we got stuck with them in the company right now. And the rest was to be converted into shares or cash at the end of 26. But I was smart enough, I think, together with my lawyer in 2021, at the end of 21 and 22, to say that in case the company is being sold or it goes bankrupt, we can convert that equity into cash very fast. So this is why we are here. It was a protection against somebody putting the company into bankruptcy. I thought about this in 2022 beginning. And we got this promissory note after negotiations with that board. So this was a protection clause that we took so we could get the money out of the project that we brought into the company, okay? So it's clear for everyone that this is not something that appeared now. It's actually our loss due to the bankruptcy. And that's why we are fighting very hard for that, because we don't need that money. We do not believe that the company should be killed. We believe in the company and we try to save it through this solution. So we had designed a protection, a safeguard in 2021 in the end, which was materialized in 2022 against situations like this one. So this is how we think strategically. In case that something like this happens, we had a protection in place, and this protection is designed to save shareholders, okay? To save the shareholders and to keep the value into the company, because I don't understand honestly why there is such a big interest in these companies from outside. The shareholders should have an interest in this company, not Kroman Reumert. I simply fail to understand what is the drive behind Thijs today. And I will give you something as a I don't know, homework maybe. Let's try to all think out of the box a little bit and think about, what if Thijs is going after Carnegie? I was thinking today, the whole day I had this in back of my head. What if Thijs saw that Carnegie is such a juicy claim? Because I don't know if let me give you a background. So Thijs has recently become the head of the bankruptcy division at Kroman Reumert. He was replaced. He replaced a guy an important lawyer that is basically the lawyer that handles today the claim of Unicredit in Shape, Jensen from Acura. And my understanding is, I will not quote this fellow, but I understand that there is a high battle in Kroman Reumert, who's not really a specialist in bankruptcies, to keep this status. There is a lot of cash involved in these operations. And I was thinking, where does he get the cash from? Because the biggest claim of this company is Carnegie today, okay? Because I don't believe that Thijs will go and install robots in schools. But their plan was to liquidate, fire sale, put zero value, and then maybe go after Carnegie. That's the only thing that makes any sense at this moment, if you think about it. What do you think about this hypothesis? Because otherwise he will absolutely lose in this equation. He cannot stop the reconstruction at this moment. He stops it temporarily, okay? But everybody has to understand something. On the 11th, if the reconstruction is open, Thijs is gone for good. So there's no coming back for him. So it's very weird. So if anybody can shed some light from this strategic position, maybe have a little bit of mind games and devil's advocate play. I don't understand exactly what is in it for him. Tell me, what do you think is in it for him? What do you think, my Danish followers, what do you think it could work? Valentin is asking me, would it make sense to hire a Danish lawyer? We have 4 hired. We have a strong team, Danish lawyers. But Valentin, you have to understand something. We are trying to bring pieces of the puzzle out of the box when we can, in order to avoid the media nightmare. Because instantly, you see, the second we left court, we had tons of pictures taken of us. If you remember, on the street, people were taking pictures of me. But suddenly, the second the reconstruction game came into play, there was nothing, silence, full stop. Nobody is covering the fact that basically, if I would not tell you through this channel, you wouldn't know that Thijs has stopped the reconstruction of a publicly listed company, which is absurd. Honestly, it's absurd in 2026, in the age of communication, to try to hide yourself behind this. It's stupid, and I don't know what the role of the newspaper is here. Why wouldn't they angle this? Makes no sense. If anybody can try to figure out how the opponents are thinking right now, would be very helpful, because we are in a position where we think that this is a quite stupid approach that is almost genius, So we don't understand how stupid they can be. That for short, the only explanation is they know something that we don't know. And it makes no sense. Absolutely nonsense. Because why would you battle for Shape? Thijs cannot do anything without the management in Shape. He cannot do any dividend. It was proven, okay? He destroyed the company. So what the hell is going on here? And actually, I'm trying to put down a theory that I believe firmly that actually the FSA, through the email that I got from Victor that announced me the other day, that Victor is the head of legal at Finanztilsynet. So he announced me that Thijs wanted to cancel the information request on those documents. And then today he gave me an information that there is a case file against Thijs. He's actually trying to help me somehow. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm running some shows with you. Marcel, what you're saying, I think you're onto something. So his interests could be, one, to hide the trails of his wrong steps, 2, the claims, and if on the 11th, if he gets thrown out, is the risk of the game, cost of doing business, and maybe professional ego. I don't know. It's an idea. It's an idea. He cannot hide the trails as a liquidator. So he will have to jump in as a curator again. So he wants the company to go back into bankruptcy again, where he will be liquidator. So curator. It is possible to call him and see what he knows. Call him. I have no problem. Anyone you can call him. I give him his number is public. I will give you his number. It's on their website, but I have it here. As a shareholder, now you could call him at any point because he's working for you. So the liquidator is working for the shareholders in this direction. So I think that you could call him at any point. I would encourage you to call and try to understand at least how he works for you as shareholders, because it's his job right now. I don't know. Tell me. Run with me ideas. If he has access, he can do some. The position is a construct. Physical direct access is that what matters. But since we're trying to simplify his thought work, I guess he's simply trying to be a bull. Yeah, he's trying to be a bull, but he's like a castrated bull here. Okay, so he's trying to be a what? Because in the end, it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder how strong he is in his let's call it experience. Okay, he doesn't know that, right? What does he? I fail to understand you, Marcel. He doesn't know that what? Maybe I lost the message from you. Somebody is writing to me about this. Yeah. He doesn't know. Does he get anything out of a bankruptcy? He gets, most likely he will get the money. That depends on the number of people he puts in. I understand that for Thijs to bring in a bankruptcy, €500,000, let's say what he has in his account, could be a lot. But I have a question again. If he gets a reprimand from the FSA that he didn't follow Mar as the head of Kronman Reumert insolvency division, what then? Because I'm pretty sure that he will get a reprimand. Honestly, I saw on Nasdaq Nordnet that people are discussing trading shares over the counter, between individuals. Okay, so the MAR regulations exist for every public listed company. We're still public listed, so there is a big danger of not. Anyway, for me, it doesn't make the risk reward matrix here. It should show that he needs to make millions to risk his career in this way. He just gets paid on hours, right? Yes, he gets paid on hours, but he has at least 6 people working in this case file. And imagine for 2 months, if you have 5-6 lawyers from Kronman Reumert all paid at 500,000-700,000 euros an hour, where do you get? Yeah. So think about, I really would like to have some interaction with you guys, because maybe start discussing also on other forums. There is a lot. How much work is there to do? I don't think there is a lot of work to do, but honestly, I don't know. For me, it's a mystery why he fights so desperate. What is there there to gain strategically to to not start the reconstruction. Yeah, it was valued to zero, but maybe that's what I'm thinking. Maybe he wants Carnegie. That's the only idea that I have in mind. He values to zero the company and then gets all the claims against Carnegie. Those are hundreds of millions of euros, no? Marcel, how much you are the you like using AI tools? I see. How much is the loss from in value of the company from the moment the pump and dump started? That was basically at 27 DKK. Okay. If you pay attention to the report, there is another company he was trustee. Yes, Aquaporin. Yes, that's the new company that he became trustee. And you say that there are zero company announcements there. I didn't check on Nordnet. Let's check now. Aquaporin actually is delisted. Aquaporin is delisted. No. Yes, it's a different story, my friend. Look, Aquaporin has delisted from the stock exchange. Boss says maybe. Yeah, but zero publish announcement is correct because Aquaporin, the management delisted the company before going bankrupt. So they delisted and went bankrupt. It was not contested. So it's okay. It's correct not to have any announcement. The company is not trading publicly anymore, Marcel. So I don't think there is a problem there. But in our case, there is one because the company is still listed. I don't know what to say, my friend. Tibi, what did you say? Maybe someone in the business. What do you mean, Tibi? By the way, Tiberio is my father. So for everybody to know what is the relationship. You say that boss says maybe securing that the pump and dump is not investigated further. How to stop that? Because the DFSA is a state mechanism, so they choose to continue even the investigation into Thai. So I find it a little bit impossible to secure that the pump and dump is not investigated further. And in the end, the pump and dump, the greatest claim that that one could have is the one that the shareholders have. Honestly, like I think Mr. Marcel has said that there should be a class action suit. No, Tiberio, I don't believe that someone has interest in the business. No, I don't think that it's that interesting, the business. Because the business is actually very complicated. But what is very important for everybody to understand is that this business existed in the governmental sphere, more or less. So we have always been very good at legal stuff, meaning that we had a very strong legal department and we always were engaged into tenders and legal procedures and governmental bonds. And we have won lawsuits against the Ministry of Education. So we are a very strong legal company because this is where we operated, and it's very difficult to understand what the plan is. who has the interest in the company is bankrupt. If the theory behind everything was that there is this interest around Carnegie, but today Carnegie is kind of proven, no? Proven fact. So I didn't. Beats me. Honestly, beats me. It's very hard to understand exactly, and I think that you need to be Danish to understand exactly what it is. It might be what Marcel says, that he's just a bully and he wants to do it. We have a saying in Romanian for my Romanian followers: if you eat un rahat, îl mănânci până la capăt. So if you eat some kind of shit, you have to eat it till it's gone. So it sounds quite brutal, but it's the truth, So you just have to stick to any idea and be strong on that idea if possible. I will give you this investigation, let's say more or less, into the bankruptcy market, and I think that common sense should also drive our road to going forward, in the sense that if you're a shareholder, and I believe that you guys that create this community should be very, very close right now, because I think that you have a strong claim against everything that is happening. And as everybody knows in this world, money in general is being made in this situation of stress, and whoever is the strongest, like Marcel says, maybe the ego, whoever is the strongest will have a success, will become victorious, more or less. But I'm quite confident that we are very well prepared, and we fought the bankruptcy. God damn it, we won the bankruptcy. Now this is it beats me. Why would you throw in yourself at this level and still continue to do bullshit? I don't understand. He seems very ego-oriented, not street smart. I don't think he's smelling some business. Most likely. It might be that. Good, my friends. So I will put down all this information, and let's see each other on Monday, maybe with some new theories, because I think they are important for us to go forward, at least to understand how the enemy thinks. But like I said, it seems that it's not only, it's street stupid, not street smart, But your mood is better today, so in the end, that's what matters. My mood is less relevant for us in this battle. Of course, that I have my ups and downs, as you can imagine that it's taking a toll on me to fight on so many different angles. I have, of course. Let me tell you a funny story. So the other day, I'm watching. This is for my Romanian followers. I'm watching only one show in Romania. It's quite, let's say, it's a controversial figure called Radu Banciu. He's a more direct person, let's call it like that, when he does a daily show about football and about politics, of course, because they go hand in hand. And yesterday there was somebody was asking me if I would go to shows, and yesterday I got an invitation to one of these shows to discuss the case of Shape Robotics. So I might be going on the television, or anyway, internet television, whatever that's now the way to discuss how a CEO in Romania sees the world from Denmark, from the top of the map. How do we see it? And how do we see the market? And I think that it's quite interesting to understand very well because for me it was a cultural shock going into Denmark and seeing that where too much digitalization and too much trust gets you. Because right now I think that you should be a little less trustful and less digitalized and more paper oriented, because things seem to sometimes go quite bad if you don't follow some basic common sense rules. At least this is my theory today. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. It should be something to discuss, but I think it's important to look at this situation with shape also from the perspective of the investors, because everybody that we are talking here invested money in the stock exchange in Denmark. So how many companies are in this situation? How many companies will be in our situation, okay, to get into a pump and dump and then destroyed and dumped? How many cases are still left that are unsolved? So a lot of rhetorical questions, but maybe let's discuss things on Monday. Have a good Friday and a good weekend, all of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.